How to start investing? Isn't it confusing with the several options that are available in the market? Even I was confused when I started off investing. So this is an easy guide for beginners to start investing and understand the basics of investment. So before you can start investing, there are certain key factors that you have to keep in mind. Number one being age. Depending on your age, you can choose various options and you can divert from high risk to low risk markets. So, a thumb rule here is as and when your age increases, your investment portfolio can move towards a lower risk option. Number two is risk appetite. So, this varies from person to person. This and age goes hand in hand. A younger person will ideally would like to invest in higher risk markets in order to get higher returns in long run, whereas a person who is in his or her early 50s would like to choose from a low risk option. And number 3, and which is a very important one, is choosing a goal. Have a set goal and start investing in order to meet your needs in the future. And the number 4, and this also is interlinked with goal, which is the term of investment. So depending on your goal, you should choose if it should be a long term or a short term investment. Now let's see the broader classifications. Here I have not considered any type of insurance because these insurances technically don't generate any return. They are very important, but they are a different kind of investment altogether, so I'll not talk about those here. So the first one here is bank products. I'm sure you're already investing in these. These are FDs, RDs and saving schemes that are offered by many banks, almost every bank that is there. The next one here is SGB or sovereign gold bonds. These are gold bonds which are released by RBI every year at a specific interval. Through these bonds, you will be owning gold but not in a physical form. Rather, you will have it in paper. The advantage of it is you will not have any risk of losing your gold or in terms of theft or even having to pay anything in making charges or gold. The gold that you pay here will have 99.9% purity and you will not have any kind of wear and tear. So at the end of your maturity over a period of 8 years, you will have interest paid over a period of 6 months, and upon maturity you will get the entire amount back based on the market price of the gold. The next one is stocks, which are nothing but small fraction of the company that you are investing in. This is brought by the stock exchange, and this is actually a high risk market which totally depends on how the company is performing in the market. So there are high chances that you can earn a good amount of return from it over a period of time, but there are also chances that you might end up having certain kind of loss as well in this. Similarly, there are mutual funds which are nothing but investing in small fraction in various companies, and this is not done by a particular person like we are doing directly in stocks, but it is done by a fund manager who is well knowledgeable and experienced in this market. The next one is bonds, which are issued by the government, and you buy that for a agreed period of time, and the government in return gives you periodic payments. Then comes real estate, which is nothing but buying a house or a piece of land and then renting it out to get returns, and you can even sell it out at a particular period of time to get some returns from the same. And then is annuities, and a very important one, these are nothing but pension schemes or the retirement funds that are available. This is a table which I have created in order to explain each investment option based on their risk, expected average return, minimum term of investment and goals you can achieve from them. So here the first one is NPS, which has tier 1 and tier 2, where you have to choose based on your interest and risk and where you want to invest your money. Average return expected is 9 to 10%. You can actually expect a greater return in the longer run, which is about 12%. This is blocked till retirement, as this is an annuity scheme, and goals you can achieve is income after retirement. Next one is Public Provident Fund or PPF. It is a low risk scheme. Average returns expected is 7 to 8% per annum. Minimum term of investment is 15 years. It is a very good option for higher education, buying a house, marriage, etc. Next one is APY or Atal Pension Yojana. Low risk. It gives you a fixed amount of income and market based returns at the end of your term, which is till retirement. Next one is mutual funds, SIPs and lump sum. Again, mutual funds has several categories. The risk is based on the fund that you have chosen. There are high risk, low risk and moderate risk funds. Average returns are based on the fund and the market, but over time you can expect a return of 8 to 12% or even 20% in certain kinds of funds. There is no minimum or maximum term here. Next is equity or direct stock. Very high risk option. It is investments and returns are totally based on the market. Term, there is no fixed term here. Goals can vary depending on your investment time and risk taken. Next is recurring deposit. Recurring deposits and fixed deposits, I'm sure already you are aware of, gives you average return of 4 to 8% in both cases. Now RDs and FDs have a lower return because in terms of inflation, if you consider, the returns do not beat inflation. So technically, if the years pass by, your return doesn't beat inflation. The next one is golds or SGBs, which is sovereign gold bonds, which I already spoke to you about in this video earlier. Gives you a very good return of 8 to 20% based on the market, plus fixed half yearly income from the interest for the money that you have invested. Minimum term of investment is 8 years. Additional income as a secure gold ownership. And the next one is real estate. It is a moderate risk. You can get 8 to 20% of interest per annum based on the area of your real estate venture and the market. So here I have not explained everything in detail because each segment I will come up with a separate video in the upcoming months. So stay tuned.
Now let's look into some examples.
Anita is 25 years old. Her monthly income is 40,000. Let's see about her expenses. So on rent, travel, groceries, mobile, internet and fixed expenses, spends about 18,000, which is 45% of her income. Then on luxury, which is considered as shopping, eating outside, movies, is about 6,000, which is 15% of her income. Next in loans, which is she's paying 4,000 as a loan amount, can be for something she has got earlier. So the remaining amount of money, that is the investable amount of income that she has every month, is 12,000, which is about 30%. So if someone's income is higher or lesser, you can consider the percentage that I have considered and calculate based on your income. So now let's see how this 12,000 can be invested every month for a 25-year-old person. So in long-term investments, let's consider 5,000 rupees, in which 2,000 goes to NPS or National Pension Scheme for retirement, 500 goes to APY for retirement, 2,500 goes to PPF for longer goals, which is for 15 years. In short term, she has 5,000 again, in which 1,500 goes to direct stocks 2,000 goes to mutual funds, 1,500 goes to bank deposits, which is again a low risk. So you see there's a different variation and diversification in the portfolio that I have created, and the remaining 2,000 goes to emergency fund, which goes to the bank account. So let's see in scenario 2, where Akash, who is a 49-year-old man, has a monthly income of about 1 lakh. So lifestyle expenses or the fixed expenses that I've considered here is education, travel, groceries, mobile, internet, etc., which is about 30,000 rupees, which is 30%. In luxury, I've considered shopping, eating out, movies, or any other kind of things that they do, which is 10,000, which is about 10% of the income. Now I have not considered rent here in the lifestyle because thinking that this person would have already invested in a house and paying a loan for that house about 35,000 monthly. So that is 35,000 rupees and 35% of the income. Now here the investable income amount is 25,000, which is 25%. So now here there is a certain change that you will see where long term is kept as 10,000 and short term is kept as 10,000, where long term is low risk, which is in gold bonds and bank deposits, considering that this person has already invested in certain kind of retirement schemes already, because there is no point in investing in a longer retirement scheme at this point of time, which is at the age of 49 years. Next is short term, which is in direct stock goes 4,000 rupees and mutual fund goes 6,000 rupees. Here it is liquid and can give you higher returns in the short term. Next, 5,000 goes to emergency fund in bank accounts.
Hey guys, I hope you had a good information with this video and you know how and when to start your investments and what are the options available for you. If you like this video, do hit the subscribe button and share this video with your friends and family. I know this video doesn't contain all the information that is required for each investment, but I'm sure in the upcoming months I will look into the specific aspect of each investment and talk in detail about it in a separate video segment. So stay tuned for that. Hope to see you guys soon with yet another video. Until then, stay safe, stay healthy. Goodbye.